South Korean military officials are preparing for another possible missile launch by Pyongyang as the joint military drill with the U.S. kick off this Sunday.
It's been a month since North Korea last has fired a ballistic missile, but the situation remains tense on the Korean peninsula. Joint military drills between Seoul and Washington kick off this week as the two sides up the pressure on Pyongyang ahead of U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to the peninsula next month.
Several South Korean media reports that North Korean missile vehicles disappearing from the map and transporter erector launchers had been spotted carrying ballistic missiles from near Pyongyang and North Pyongyang province. Anything could happen, especially before China's party convention on October 18 and during the time between post-drills and Trump's visits in the region, said Shin Byung-chul, a professor at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy in Seoul. There is also the possibility for North Korea to test shorter-range ballistic missiles, which in the past did not lead to UN sanctions. Historically, the North had tended not to provoke directly during the military drills.
Another round of joint South Korea-US military drills begin on Monday, this time including the USS Ronald Reagan. The Nimitz-class nuclear-powered carrier supports up to 70 aircraft, from fighters to helicopters, and is one of America's most powerful assets in the region. An Ohio-class guided missile submarine, the USS Michigan, has already arrived at the southern port of Busan, carrying some 150 Tomahawk missiles. The US military are also providing several aircraft to a local exhibition in Seoul, including the B-1B Lancer strategic bomber and the F-22 Raptor stealth fighter jet. Joint drills like these have antagonized North Korea in the past, and there are concerns Pyongyang will react with its own display of force. Military officials in Seoul have reported movement of mobile missile launchers in North Korea and remain on alert for any provocations. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is set to promise South Korea and Japan the protection of America's nuclear umbrella against North Korea in a speech next month. According to Japanese newspaper Yomiuri Shimbun, Trump will make the speech in Seoul during his 12-day visit to Asian nations, and he will look to up the pressure on Pyongyang, stressing that the North Korea situation is the administration's most important challenge. Trump also suggested on Friday that negotiations with Pyongyang might still be possible, but that they remain ready for numerous possibilities. Laying the groundwork for Trump's visit, Seoul's Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa spoke on the phone with her US counterpart Rex Tillerson on Saturday night. the foreign ministry revealed that they both hope the visit will further strengthen the bilateral relationship and find ways to work more closely together to tackle North Korea.
Separately, U.S. weapons systems including F-35A and F-22 stealth fighter jets, B-1B bombers and RQ-4 surveillance drones will participate in the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition being held from Tuesday through Friday, although they won't be armed, according to a Yonhap report. North Korea conducted its sixth and most powerful nuclear test on September 3, and has launched more than a dozen missiles this year as Kim Jong-un's regime seeks the capability to hit the continental U.S. with an atomic weapon. The United Nations has imposed stringent sanctions on North Korea for its weapons tests. Trump has said all options, including military, are on the table to stop Kim, and the White House ruled out talks with Pyongyang. North Korea's state-run media agency KCNA on Saturday criticized the joint military exercise, calling it a reckless act of war maniacs. Earlier, the White House said U.S. President Donald Trump will travel to Asia from November 3 to 14, during which he will visit South Korea and possibly the demilitarized zone that separates the two Koreas. Joining the U.S. in seeking to increase pressure on North Korea would mean Australia will not be able to avoid a disaster, the state-run Korean Central News Agency on Saturday cited a foreign ministry spokesman as saying, Australia is showing dangerous moves of zealously joining the frenzied political and military provocations of the U.S., the spokesman was quoted as saying, citing Foreign Minister Julie Bishop's visit last week to South Korea.